Hey guys, my guest tonight, Caren Clarke, is going to be talking about grief and how we can get through it. I'm also going to do an update on my trip through the opioid epidemic. So I have some interesting things to say about that. See you in about 5 minutes. Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust, turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Oh, hello everybody. How's everybody doing today? Hope you said well. At least the big thing today is I'm out of YouTube jail, so my subscribers on YouTube, my subscribers on YouTube can actually see the show live now without having to go through Facebook, which is okay. You know, Facebook's cool. Nothing wrong with Facebook. Anyway, I want to welcome you all to the show, and my name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour, along with our guest Caren Clarke, who's joining us shortly. Let me click this off so that doesn't do weird things. Okay. I'm also the owner of the, let me move this over here. I was trying to get everything settled where I want it. I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team, based out of really sunny Sacramento. We're 45 strong up and down the state of California, which means if you have a paranormal need, we can get to you. And in most cases, if we can't get to you, because California is a huge state, and it's got, we've got deserts, we've got lots of farmland, we've got all this other stuff going on. If we can't get you right away, we have psychics on staff who can call you and talk to you about what may or may not be going on in your home. And in most cases, they can calm the energy down until we get out there. And, it's not like you're going to wait a week to see us. We'll get out there within 1 or 2 days. But there are times when it takes us a little extra time. I want to make a quick announcement today. I'm going to be teaching a psychic development class on Saturday, August 5th at 6 p.m. Pacific. And it's a basic psychic development class. It's a level 1 where you see if you might have psychic powers, and we work on stuff to increase those powers. And then I teach you how to open and close that ethereal door. So I'm going to be teaching that, because once you open that door, everything will come through. And if you don't know how to close it right away, it happens, right? Okay. Anyway, we are live tonight from Facebook. We are live tonight from Twix. Oh my gosh. We're live tonight from Facebook. We're live tonight from Twitch. We are live tonight from YouTube, finally, for the first time in 7 days. So I'm glad everybody's here. If you want to find the team, you can find us on Facebook under California Haunts. You can find me on Instagram under Ghosty Gal. It's all lowercase. You can find me on. You can find us on Twitter under California Haunts. You can find us on. I'm just tired. Long day. I'll explain why. You can find us over on TikTok under California Haunts, and you can find us at Twitch under Cal Haunts. So welcome everybody. It's going to be an interesting show because we're going to be talking about grief with Caren Clarke. I also want to do an update because I've these monthly updates on what's going on with the that opioid thing, and it's been a long day. I did a nap today. You got a nap when you get old, and it's getting interesting. It's getting real touchy and getting interesting. Today, let me see. I'm waiting to see if Karen's supposed to come in. She promised she'd be on camera today, so that's going to be kind of cool. So I'm just waiting to see. Hang on, I got to send her the link again. She had the link and she lost it. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second to get this link over to her. It's just funny. So let me get this link. Anyway, it was an interesting day. Well, it was supposed to be a day because my appointments all got moved around, and I was supposed to go at 11 today. Ended up going at 9:30 this morning. So I was able to get done early with my appointment, and the appointment went pretty good. I mean, I didn't have any words with anybody this time, like I normally do. So I had a good feeling about the day, and then came home and was getting ready to. Oh, there she is, and was getting ready to. Well, let's bring Caren in. I'll finish my story. So let's go. So she's here.
Hi, Charlotte.
Hey, what up?
I gotta readjust this a little bit. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
You'll have to turn me down a little bit. I can hear it. I can hear me.
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, we're getting an echo.
Okay, everything's off. The AC's off. Michael's in the other room. He says he won't bother me.
Okay. Just it's picking up my voice over there, so I can hear it through here. We're hearing it through this side.
Oh, you can't hear me at all?
No, I can hear you, but I can also hear me, like coming through your speaker.
Oh, what do I do?
I don't know. You can turn me down. Turn me down.
Okay. I'll turn it down. Hold on 1 second.
Turn me down a little bit.
Okay, hold on. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
You can still hear me, but not.
Okay, hold on. Jeez, it's so hot today.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So what I was saying is that I did my appointment, my usual pain appointment, and got in there early. They ran a little late. I was so tired this morning, I fell asleep waiting for the doctor to come in. So that all went smooth. And on the way home, I get the notice because for pain patients, what they generally do is they'll send your prescription in, and then they'll send you a little notice of that they did it, so you can approve it. So I got it approved. Everything was fine. Sat down. About 20 minutes later, I get a text message from my pharmacy telling me that they don't have the meds, that they're back ordered, and they don't know when they're going to get them. So I said, well, what am I supposed to do? And it was, well, your doctor either hooks you up with a place to get them, or, or you could call around and find them. The problem that people don't realize is I have Medi-Cal, and it works like your job. Whether you're working or not, it works like your job. So, like when you sign up for coverage at work, you got like choices. Sometimes they'll give you Kaiser, Blue Shield, Blue Cross, and you can choose what you want to do. Medi-Cal works the same way. Right. But the problem is, I got what they call the previous stuff wrong with me, with my heart. So not everybody wants me. So I'm on a particular thing. Let's just say I'm not on the big three.
Okay. That's
so right. It makes it hard because pharmacies don't take the coverage I have, not all of them. So it's a big search thing. Like when they switched the Medi-Cal last year around, and I had been with Costco for like 5, 6, 7 years to get my pills. I had to switch back. I had to switch to CVS. Anyway, so that complicated things.
Oh dear.
So I'm calling around. I ended up spending like 3 hours calling around. Finally got a hold of someone. I'm not going to say who because they're inundated right now, this place. And it's only going to get worse. Because it's not just me, it's not getting the meds. Okay? It's like as CVS put it, it's such a back order that they don't even know when they're going to get them.
Yeah.
And so I finally get a hold of this place, and I said, well, do you have it? They don't want to tell you that they have them because by law they can't. And so I finally convinced the gal, and I said, I've got congestive heart failure. If I go through withdrawals, it's not going to end well. And so she finally said, okay, how many do you need and what you need? So I told her, she goes, okay, yeah, we can do that. So this is after waiting 20 minutes to even get in on a phone call. I mean, that's how packed they are because this is happening everywhere. So I waited till like 4 or 5 in the afternoon and finally called over there. And they said, yeah, we got them, come get them. But I don't trust anybody, right? Because I thought about going tomorrow, but I thought, no, I want to know tonight whether I'm going to get them or not. Because I can walk in there and they go, oh, yeah, your coverage just isn't what it's supposed to be. So I went and picked them up.
Let me stop you for a minute. Are we on the air?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if we were on.
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So, yeah, I went in and got them tonight because I wanted to find out, I wanted to know. I didn't want to spend the night, maybe take my last 2 pills and then I could cut them in half or whatever to figure things out tomorrow. So I finally got them. So I told the guys over there that I felt sorry for them because there were like 20 people in line.
Wow.
Because
that's
I think
not uncommon.
Yeah, but I think they're one of the only games in town that have this medication. Because the way they put it to me was that they are rationing it out. Which is why I lucked out because I don't take a big amount, so I was able to get my most amount. But the whole point of all this is, you guys that are listening, is that it's not so much the CDC, it's not the doctors, it's the DEA that did this. Every year for the last 5-10 years, they have cut production back on these pills, and this year they did it again. And
Yeah,
according
and
to
you've
their,
done a lot more research than I have,
yeah,
so you
and
know.
according to what the reasoning is that there's enough pills out there for the patients that need them. But where are they? So there's a major shortage in Sacramento. And I knew like 2 or 3 months ago that the lower dosage of my pill was gone. Nobody was able to get them. But now it's at the higher doses. So who knows what's going to happen? But that was my experience today. So, I mean, it's not like anything horrible happened. You know, like an argument with the doctors. I did not argue. You know, it went rather smoothly. And I can understand the pharmacist, so I'm not upset with the pharmacy. But I mean, you're left scrambling trying to find the stuff. It's
It
really hard.
definitely has to be managed
Yeah,
much
yeah.
better.
So something's got to be done to stop this kind of thing, you know, because I mean, again, they're looking at the wrong people for this stuff. The people that are being hurt by it are the older, the senior citizens, the people that really need it. Not the
Stage
people
4
that,
cancer patients.
yeah.
Yeah.
But today was crazy. I mean, I may
Yeah,
not
well,
even gotten them.
It's
you
an
know?
ongoing process, that's for sure, Charlotte.
That's for sure. Anyway, I just want to quickly update everybody on that. That's where that was at. And like I said, I'm going to be doing some things to be proactive for next month, just in case. You know, I'll probably hold one pill back or something, you know, a day for a while till I can have a few stacked up in case this happens again. So I'll have, you know, some available. So it's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, our topic tonight, we're going to talk about grief. And grief is a hard thing to deal with. It is. I mean, so everybody deals with grief in different ways. And I know when my dad died, my mother and I were so exhausted from taking care of him that it was more of a relief thing with us. So we both were here to go through it, you know. When my mother died, I just threw myself into work and into the show. And that's how I cope with it. So I still have times in the evening, sometimes when I'm here alone, that I think about her and I'll cry sometimes. It's been like 3 years now. You know. What's your view on grief?
Well, first I have to start off because I still have my license. I'm a licensed nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And working in the medical profession, I have to state we're not doctors, we're not psychiatrists, psychologists. Right. We're just, strictly speaking, we have to give our little disclaimers. We're speaking on our personal experiences, right? Mm-hmm. Grief is, well, you know, there's the 4 stages of grief, but we can get into that a little bit later. But it's something that no animal, humankind's immune to. Grief is just something that every human being goes through at one time or another in their life. We lose people. We get divorces. We lose jobs. Our cars break down. That might be more of an annoyance, but what happened with me quickly, because I think this show is more based on the healing power of grief, meaning, oh gosh, hold on. The AC just went on and I told him to keep it off so I could hear better. Anyways, the healing power of grief, the healing power of managing grief and loss is something that you have to work at every day, something that I had to work at every day to get to the point where I am now. And I'm clearly not there, but I'm definitely at a place where I'm a lot happier than where I was. And I think what happens is some people go through compounded grief. And what that means is that a lot of things happen at once. And I know a lot of my family, my friends know what happened to me, but quickly I lost my 40-year-old sister to suicide in a very bad way, and I lost a cousin a week before that, and then I was diagnosed with they thought a terminal disease within the next month. So it was like all this compounded grief. Oh, and we just lost Michael's mom shortly before that too. So it was like all this compounded grief at once, and it took a toll on my body. And then my surgery didn't go so well, and I had, as we know, I had a lot of pain from that surgery. So that kind of added to my grief as well. So it was a little bit of A, B, C, D, and all the above. And over the years, I've had to really learn how to handle my grief. Sometimes I didn't handle it so well, and sometimes I did handled it better. But I'm at a stage now in my life where I think that the skills and the tools that I've learned through physical therapy, through counseling, through going to grief management groups, I think it all contributes to a better outcome for those who are trying to manage grief. And yeah, so that kind of gives a little summary of what my background is with grief. Oh, and I did lose a very, very good friend back when I was in my 20s. And without getting too much into detail, she was very young when I lost her, and that was a really hard thing to lose her. So, yeah.
So, when you were dealing with your, because I know I went through a period just recently, within the last year or so, maybe 2 years, where I had a bunch of people. My dad went in 2011. My mother went, I think, in 2019, just before COVID hit. And then the COVID year, and then just, I think, this last year, it's all melding into one now. I lost my brother. I lost some of my pets. I lost, I lost an uncle. I lost a cousin. And it all came like boom, 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 boom. I lost a couple of friends. And I had to take a step back from everything because it was just too much to deal with.
Yeah, it can be, for sure. And the thing I learned is that we're not islands. We need people. We need, the right professionals sometimes. We need people that we can trust and count on. I think it's a balancing act where you don't want to dump all your grief on one person or one friend or one spouse, but you can get support. There are some good grief support groups that one can find if need be. Yeah, there's just a combination of things. There's no stigma if you need to get professional help. None at all. Family counseling can help. Individual counseling can help. It depends. Everybody has a unique situation. It depends on their basically what their needs are. But I think it's going kind of within and realizing, what do I need? What do I need to heal? And it's a process. It's something that just doesn't go away like, oh, okay, I'm healed. It's something that I think we all have to work on every day of our life, dealing with grief effectively.
Yeah,
in a healthy way. And then, of course,
right.
The basics that can help grief. Get enough sleep. Eat a healthy diet. Get enough exercise. Meditate. Of course, we all have to have that chocolate bar once in a while, right? Or the McDonald's, or, moderation is key, really. Don't drink too much. Don't, all the stuff that's bad for us. I'm not trying to be preachy, but a lot of this can also help with the grieving process, helping somebody cope and have better coping mechanisms and strategies for healing.
When you talk about the process and finding these places to go to talk with people and stuff, are there free places you can go? I mean, I've never really looked into it.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. And that's the thing, you want to know if they're reputable. You a lot of times you can ask like a case manager, get a case manager, or, you know, call your county system, get recommendations. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's some numbers we could post at the end.
Sure.
And of course, if your grief gets too bad, then you call the suicide hotline too. But as far as like just, wanting to get that everyday support or weekly support or whatever support that you feel is the best, there are groups out there. I'm sure that you can Google them online, and I would just research and try to get a good background of what the group is about and find out if they're reputable or not. Talk to people in the group if you can. Show up, and if it's not for you, then don't give up. Just go try another group. And sometimes you get to a place where you're fine, and it's just a matter of managing it every day. I think also one thing that does help grief is when you wake up, you are grateful for what you do have in your life. It's so easy to be negative. I tend to go negative sometimes. So I try to make an effort to wake up and take inventory and thank and be very grateful for what I have. I think that helps too.
So we were talking about maybe talking about the stages of grief. So let's talk about those a little bit.
Yeah. I don't have a mommy. I don't remember that. No, I know there's 4 stages of grief: denial, acceptance. I had the list and I left it on the table. But bargaining.
Right.
Depression. Can you look them up real fast? I want
to
to get
right
them.
When we start to go through this, when somebody passes away, I mean, there is a denial. There's definitely denial,
definitely.
but the stage that gets me, that I didn't have any thoughts about, because after taking care of my mother, I didn't have anything to regret afterwards, because I did the best job I possibly could, and I knew it, after she passed. But I know there's a lot of that, shoulda, woulda, coulda, stuff that people go through.
Definitely.
Here we go. Denial, bargaining, depression. You're right. Anger. Acceptance. Yeah.
Acceptance. And also,
yes, go ahead.
it's not uncommon to bounce in between those emotions, those stages. Like one day you could feel really angry, and the next day you're bargaining, and then the next day you're kind of in denial. You just don't want to get stuck in one category, one stage. It's a little bit of bouncing up and down, but eventually you get there. I think eventually it gets to a process of acceptance, more acceptance.
But
I don't know if we totally ever accept it, but you know what I mean.
Right. But I think for each individual person, it's different. It could be a short time for some people. It could be a longer time for some people, and maybe years for some people.
That's right.
But I mean, like I said, I've done it with my dogs, where I've gone through the woulda, shoulda, coulda, that have really bothered me. But like I said, with my mom and dad, I did everything I possibly could for them, so I didn't go through that, but did I go through anger a little bit? Yeah, there was some anger.
Sure. Yeah, and then there's, we care for our parents with I have mixed emotions about it, but I'm all for taking care of our parents, but then there has to be a respite too.
Mm-hmm.
A respite period where you have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
As a caregiver, when I did hospice care, I realized that it was really important to keep myself up to be the most effective nurse for my hospice patients. Like I had to make, and sometimes that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
But in any profession or any family or any situation, yeah, we just want to make sure we're trying to take care of ourselves first so we can help take care of our loved ones.
And it's not that easy when you're caregiving for somebody either, because you're so connected to the person you're caregiving for that when you have to walk away and take that break, it's really hard to do it.
Oh yes,
I
that's a really
remember
great point.
when my sister would come, or I Shannon, who was great, 2-3 days a week. Sometimes I was still in the house when she was taking care of my mom because I wanted to be there because I was so hands-on with her.
Absolutely.
So it used to drive me crazy. But I mean, to have a respite is great. I mean, even if you have an hour with a respite, because it can be very stressful.
Yes. Yeah, I recently, well, my family, I wasn't alone. I was very lucky. I had a whole family behind me when my father was going through that. We lost him in 2019, and we had a really good team. It does help, and it's hard because, as you know, the alternative is, I'm kind of getting off the beaten track here, but putting patients in a home.
It's what we do.
It's what we do the best, right? Putting a patient in a home, sometimes we don't have a choice.
Right.
And then with the cost of what home care costs, it's exorbitant. So a lot of times the family members are the ones that do the care. And it doesn't have to just be an elderly family member. It could be somebody with a condition, MS, muscular dystrophy, it runs a gamut. Spinal bifida.
And you know what? That has something to do with grief too, because as a caregiver, you grieve for yourself. You're grieving for yourself. You're grieving for the life that you had, that you gave up, because you're having to you're having to just dive into this care you're giving.
That's so true.
I remember interviewing people when I was physically working for a newspaper, and there'd be some person that was famous in town, right? You go interview them, and I couldn't get over it because they always were relieved. I never understood that until after I took care of my parents. But I used to think it was awful because you'd be talking to them and they'd be sitting there going, "Oh yes, blah 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 blah." Like I said, like it was a big relief. But after having taken care of my mom and dad, it is a relief feeling. One of the first, and I think that's where the guilt comes from with grief, is that when you lose somebody you've been taking care of for so long, and that pressure's not there anymore to take care of them, it's a big relief for you.
Definitely.
And then the guilt starts. Yeah, and then the grieving and guilt starts.
And then you go through the stage of guilt. And yeah. What could I have done better to keep that person alive? What could I have done better to keep that person in better comfort? And yeah, that's typical too. And that's where a lot of times the counseling or the support helps to deal with those emotions.
Or it's the guilty feeling you get too, because you're feeling relieved.
And that's very human too.
Yeah. Oh, I've got my life back. But then you start to look around and you've spent so much time with that person, dealing with that person, that you don't know how to function either. That's why you have to be careful too sometimes.
It could become an adjustment disorder, which or just adjustment, a period of adjustment.
Now, like we said, we're not doctors or anything like that. I'm like Karen, I'm talking from experience and what I went through. You know, and how to come out of it in the grieving process. I still grieve. I mean, my dad's been gone since 2011. I still think of him every day. I think of my mom every day. I think of my brother every day.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always thinking about it.
It's so interesting you say that. I was up at my mom's house, and my sister and brother-in-law and my niece came over, and Michael, and we were talking about my dad, and we just all started crying. Like, yeah, it's still fresh. It's still, even if you lose somebody 20, 30 years ago, you can smell a scent or see a movie or see a car. Something triggers that memory of that person. And it can cause a little bit of like oh, I miss that person. Or why didn't it work out? Or, kind of that. And that's where...
I think, like you say, I also think there's grief that's delayed as well. Like, I've said this before, but not on the show, where I didn't cry for my mother. I didn't cry for my father. I cried more for my dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then later on, like you say, there's some trigger. And then I remember crying for my mother. It was within the last couple of years, the last year or two. Because it's just something, I threw myself so much into work that my emotions completely shut off and avoided all that. But all it took was a trigger.
Yeah, and then you brought up a really good point, Charlotte, about everybody experiences grief differently. So one family member experiences it a little differently than another family member. And sometimes we just have to let that person go through the grieving process the way they choose to go through it, as long as they're not being destructive to themselves or others.
Do you think, though, I mean, there has to be a point where, like you say, you want to willingly talk with counselors or whatever, because grief can also eat you alive.
Can you repeat that? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just saying, at some point, like as you go through the process, so there has to be a turning point to where you go talk to a counselor.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
How do people reach those turning points, though?
That's a really good question. I'm not exactly sure how to answer that. I can speak for myself. I don't know. It'd probably be a good idea to get a licensed counselor.
Yeah,
or somebody.
But it's just, I mean, sometimes I know a lot of people don't want to go to counseling, don't want counseling. I'm a person that I read that stuff, but sometimes it just gets to a point where just talking to somebody outside of your family.
Sometimes that's enough. It's an individual thing.
Yeah.
Decision. Sometimes that's just enough that you have somebody that you can talk to in confidence and share your feelings with. And I think it's important, like with me, I didn't want to burden my family. I didn't want to burden all my friends. So I kind of kept to myself a little bit more than I should have. But now I'm realizing it, again, in moderation. You don't want to just, be a vampire, an energy vampire, where you're just sucking the life force out of one person. But you want to be able to feel that you can get outside of yourself and relate with people a little, commiserate a little bit's fine. And then hopefully find positive ways how to deal with the grief. And that's what I found, what grief counseling did for me, is that it helped me develop skills and ways where I could find positive ways to deal with my grief. like I'm a singer. I used to, play the guitar. I haven't played for years, but I love to sing. So that's one of my ways that I'll turn on YouTube and drive Michael crazy and sing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one of my ways how I deal with my grief too. I've learned to meditate a little bit better, more. Animals, like my little puppy here. He's certainly been. I remember they said, "Do you have a dog or a cat?" And I'm allergic to cats. I said, "Well, we could get a small dog where we live." So we went to SPCA and we adopted Jin Jin, and he's just been phenomenal. Just he has animals can be very healing too.
I agree with that because, again, we're talking about grief, but we're also talking about emotions today. Like, as I was taking care of my mother, there were times when I would be really depressed, and I remember the feral cats in the backyard when they had their kittens.
Oh yes.
There was more fun for me to go out there when I took my breaks, when my mother was napping or whatever, and I would go out in the backyard and sit there and just watch the kittens play.
Yes, they're so
cute. It was huge. It was huge for my sanity. So that helped a great deal. Even after my mother passed away, there was still a family back there, And so I was watching them all the time, too, in the evenings. So it did help, It's like having a puppy that you can't touch, but still. They're fun. But yeah, we're not here to dictate how people should deal with grief. That's not, we're just here to share our experiences with you guys because maybe you have a similar experience of what we've gone through over the years of grief. And this is just how I dealt with it, and this is how Caren dealt with hers. And, it's not necessarily for you. It could be something else for you. But I see there's a lot of grief support groups on Facebook, out there. I've been searching for those and stuff, and I know there's, like when my old dog died back in 2013, I remember I found a real cool group of people on Facebook, and it really, really helped me.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look back on the people that have passed away around you,
mm-hmm.
which one affected you the most, do you think?
Oh my goodness. My sister.
Okay.
My sister. The one we lost when she was 40 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She had I don't say her name because before she passed, she did not like social media.
Sure.
And she asked me never to say her name on social media. So I call her my baby sister in her honor, but she did have mental illness. She had she was bipolar, and it went into schizoaffective disease. And unfortunately, when that happens, it's like the brain lies to the individual who has that condition. So she did take her life in a very harsh way. Without getting too much into details, it was very hard. It was very hard on the family, and something like that can really tear a family apart too. Our family, we held together okay, but it was tough. And we're certainly not immune to that situation happening. It happens all over, all the time. Hopefully less than all the time, but you know what I'm saying, I think. Yeah, that would be to answer your question, that was the hardest one to get through. But I know she's at peace now. I know she's at peace.
It's like my mother used to say, with with senior citizens and stuff, even though we love them to pieces, it's our moms and dads, it's our grandfathers and grandmothers, it's like, you look at it as they lived their life. They had their life, they had a full life, and it's good for them to move on to wherever they're going to go. I think it hurts more when it's a younger person, like your sister, or my brother, or my cousin that I lost, or some of my friends. that's what hurts more because you always think about how much more they could have possibly had ahead of them.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for attending her funeral, Charlotte. That was 11 years ago. Can you believe it?
That was a long time ago.
I know. Known you a long time.
Here we are, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, you're yeah, I agree with you. Definitely.
You know, just like I'm going to bring this up, but I mean, this whole Ocean Gate something. It's sad what happened, but the one I feel worse for is the 19-year-old kid. Because he had his whole life ahead of him. You know, and that's what I feel the worst for.
When you hear about stories
and that's the thing, when you think about younger people passing away and stuff, that's what I think about right away is you what could have happened? What could that person have done in their life, or what would they have experienced with that they can't anymore?
Then we turn to a higher power, and I call God, but there's a reason for, I guess there is a reason for everything. And I think that our loved ones that pass, are actually probably harder for the ones on the other side than it is for the ones that have moved on, the beyond.
Okay.
But I think also, do you ever sense your mom around you or your dad around you?
I sense my mother more than anybody.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sense a lot of my relatives around me at times. And sometimes I really feel my sister around me, and sometimes I don't. I think it can be comforting too to talk to them.
Right. I agree with that. And again, for everybody, it's different. I mean, some people don't sense anything. You know, some people have the belief that when you die, that's it. The light goes out, you're done. You know, there's no afterlife and stuff. But it just depends on your belief. But
well, even with those beliefs, they can heal too.
Yeah. Absolutely. But it does take a while. I mean, grief is something that you just don't wake up the next day and go, oh, okay, I'm good, let's move on. Grief stays with you for a while. It hangs with you, you know, and also as you get older, it makes you who you are.
It does.
It shapes the person you are.
Definitely does. And grief is something, and loss. Grief and loss is something that it never goes away. I mean, we lose people throughout our lifetime.
Right.
We lose jobs throughout our lifetime, or finances, or animals, our pets. So it's something that you learn. I think you have a really good point. As we get older, sometimes we learn how to, I don't want to say get used to it, but we learn how to maybe there's a little bit faster, acceptance. I don't know if that's the right word or not.
That's why, you know, some parents will make sure their kids have dogs or cats for pets. Because it helps prepare them for death. Because kids have to go through that with their animals.
Yes.
And so they learn what death is, and they learn how to grieve over their animals. So it's like it's a preparation thing for them when they're adults.
Oh yes.
And I've read articles where that's why people will get pets for their kids.
Oh right, especially like those wonderful trained animals that go into hospitals.
Yes.
That sit with terminal kids, or the elderly, even Alzheimer patients. It's amazing. Sometimes you see a person with Alzheimer's, and they see a pet or an animal and they just light up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I can give them a moment of joy.
Mm-hmm. I remember, because we had the two Pekingese dogs, and I remember when my dad was coming to the end, the last week or so of his life, and they allowed me to bring the two dogs in to lay in bed with them. And that was a huge help for him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we're not doctors, so we're just out here just randomly talking about the grief we went through, because, I mean, Caren saw a lot of grief, I saw a lot of grief the past couple of years, and like I said, I had to take a break. I had to take a break from ghost hunting. I had to take a break from everything because it just was too much for me. I think that year I lost, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I lost like 6 people around me,
Yeah,
plus
you
a
did.
couple of my animals.
I remember.
So it was really, really tough. Really tough.
Sometimes you just have to recharge your batteries.
Yeah.
And that's being good to yourself and saying, like I said, I've learned not to, not to hide out.
Mm-hmm.
That I need to put myself out there.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I have to know when it's good for me to recharge my batteries, when I need to rest, meditate through my chronic pain, or do my coping mechanisms, light exercise, all the stuff. And the other thing too, I think, is finding joy in your life is so important.
Absolutely.
It's easier said than done sometimes, but finding joy in one's life is very healing, whatever that may be.
I think meditation played, like for me, it played a huge part.
I remember when you were meditating, it really did help you a lot.
Yeah, it really helped me with my heart, it helped me with everything. You know, to do the meditation. And that was just 30 minutes every night. It was just to sit out back and meditate.
I do remember that. You helped me a lot back then. That's kind of where I learned how to meditate, was from through you too. Thank you.
Yeah.
That woman that you had on.
Oh, yeah. In fact, guys, while we're talking about this, what I'm thinking of doing is, once I get on a decent schedule again, is I will do a meditation every day, live.
That's great.
So people can come meditate. So I think it really helps.
The one place for me that I absolutely love is the ocean.
Oh, I do too.
I went to go visit my friend. We went to the Keys a few years ago, and it's beautiful there. But I love the Pacific Ocean. That's my favorite. I grew up in the Bay Area, so, we went to Santa Cruz quite a bit, and that's just, and then we moved out here, and it's pretty here. The Sierra Mountains are so beautiful. And, so we're really lucky we live in California. We pay the price for it, but we have everything here. The redwood. So I guess my point is, sometimes going into a setting that's very healing for that person can help too. Sometimes I can just sit on the sand and just watch the ocean, and it just calms me down. Another thing,
what's nice?
Yeah, another thing that helps me on YouTube. Well, Michael has tinnitus really bad, so we have to always have the white noise in the background when he sleeps. But for me, what helps me to calm down is, like, I'll put on 10 hours of whales.
There you go.
Or rain, and sometimes even thunder and lightning. Just some, background noise can help too ease and calm a person down.
I was going to mention that. And what I also want to mention was that you can get a VR headset real cheap. I know because I got it from someone for Christmas. And what you do is you push your cell phone in there to watch it. And you can get it on YouTube, and you can actually find virtual reality movies on YouTube. So if you want to go to the beach,
Wow.
you can push your VR headset with your phone in there, and the audio is there, and you're at the beach. You're literally at the beach. No matter what direction you look, you're at the beach.
Well, that's a great alternative for people that are disabled that can't get out.
Yeah.
I know I was stuck. You remember when I was in a wheelchair?
Right.
For a couple of years. And it was really hard for me to get out. So
it is really cool. You can go on YouTube.
That's a great thing for people who are disabled. Or
Because,
people that just have a hard time.
I think mine was sharper image. It wasn't like a real expensive VR headset, because some of them are real expensive.
Oh, really?
You can pick one up for $20 on eBay or whatever. But as long as it pulls your cell phone, like mine's an iPhone 11, then you can go on YouTube and look for these VR things. And it's really cool. There's some really cool stuff. Like one of the ones I had too that was pretty funny was diving with hammerhead sharks. Everywhere you look, you look around you, you look behind you. There's a shark coming up behind you, and that's
no way.
This VR. Yeah,
that would cause me too much anxiety. I'm sorry. I have a friend. She's a diver, and when I went to visit her, she showed me her videotape of when she dove with the sharks in the Caribbean. That did not relax me. I found it fascinating, but diving with sharks. But like to each his own. Like maybe somebody would like to go skydiving. Maybe that would be exhilarating for them.
Maybe you're in the museums. I know the Smithsonian Museum has a VR tour. That's free.
Oh, that's cool. Again, we're talking about like what, releasing serotonin and dopamine levels.
Yeah.
And that could be healing too.
And that could be really healing. I mean, to me, I agree with Caren. If I'm depressed and I can sit on the beach and watch the sunset, I'm good.
Oh, me too.
This is the way you can do it. I mean, like I said, these VR headsets, the cheaper ones don't cost that much. It's not like you have to buy the PlayStation kind or anything like that. These, you just simply buy these things, and it fits your phone, and you can. It's like 3D glasses, only it's for VR. And it's pretty fun because they had a lot of roller coasters. They've got tours around the Grand Canyon. You can go everywhere. So it's very medicinal, good stuff. Dinjan, how are ya?
He's jealous because mommy's talking, aren't you? This is my little healing dog. Say hi, Dinjan.
Dinjan, what up?
Say hi, Gypsy.
Buddy's in here, Dinjan.
Hey, baby. Okay. All
All
right, you had your time.
But like I said, it's an inexpensive way for you. Like maybe you can't afford to go on vacation. Get one of these VR headsets and away you go.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's really true. That's a great alternative, huh, for a lot of people that can't do it the other way.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's an alternative. Maybe one day I'll do it on the show you guys, because it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, And if you are going through grief, that might be a way for you to, to kind of work your way through it. If you don't want to, if you're too shy about going to talk to somebody.
Or artwork is always reading, writing, all those things.
Yeah, things that make you happy and are medicinal. Maybe you do woodworking.
Oh, woodworking's a good one too.
Yeah. Just something with your hands.
Right.
So. But, yeah, I found the VR thing to be very. In fact, my mother was using the VR headset for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
she'd
really
go on roller coasters. It was funny to watch her because she'd be sitting there and she'd be on a roller coaster and then she'd go like this when she's going down the turns.
I can't see my mom doing that.
But she would. If you got her one, she would get into it.
That's neat.
Just like
that's cool because, I mean, that probably gave her a sense of fun and like she wasn't just stuck on the couch or
No.
yeah.
And the beach ones are so good. The water even comes up to your feet. You know, the white foam from the waves.
Mm-hmm.
The right it comes with a few toes. It's really cool the way they are. And there's so many of them available for free online. So that's another way to kind of get your mind off things, you know. But grief is just grief. I mean, it's different for everybody. And if you can, you have the opportunity to maybe see a counselor. That would help a great deal with it, I think.
Definitely.
You know, especially if you're having trouble with it and you just can't seem to shake it. I think that would be the best way to go. Actually, talk to somebody. Even talking to somebody that understands grief, that's been through it before, is a huge help.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
It's that contact with somebody else. Because in fact, I just met somebody who joined the team who was taking care of her brother as a caregiver, and she and I had a great long talk. Because I have that experience with taking care of my mother, it's nice to talk to somebody else that has that, you know. So, yeah. Anyhow, wow, that went fast, huh?
That sure did. Oh my goodness. And Charlotte, I apologize. I am not technically advanced like you. I don't know how to get the color right. I don't know how to do the background, but I'm learning.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get you some headphones, too. So we don't have echo.
Right.
We'll get you a headset.
Okay, that sounds good.
Tomorrow, look for me.
Okay.
12:30 p.m. Pacific. Lisa Campion is going to be on, and she's going to be talking about energy vampires. So we'll be here at 12:30. And Caren and I have a bunch of stuff coming up, so we'll be on the lookout for that. You know, we're starting to get all that rolling now. So, yeah. But Caren, thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me as a guest, Charlotte. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
All right.
You have a good rest of your evening.
You too.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, that was a fun talk. We had some audio stuff going on there, but we'll fix it. We'll get that fixed. We'll get Caren rigged up with the proper headphones. You see, I got my little friend behind me over here. He was a gift from my good friends Pamela and Tim in Wisconsin, and so he's kind of like my mascot watching the show. I love Grogu. Everybody knows I love Grogu. Again, tomorrow, Lisa Campion is going to be with us at 12:30 p.m. Pacific, and we're going to be talking about energy vampires, so that should be an interesting show. And Caren and I are going to be doing some projects here. We're starting to roll with it, and we wanted to run a test tonight with audio to see how things are going to work, because we're going to be doing TikToks together and working over at TikTok on some psychic readings over there. I'm going to do some tarot card work. Excuse me. I'm going to be doing some tarot card readings over on TikTok myself, and I'm going to get those rolling, and we're going to, it's just going to be a good old time on TikTok. You know, we're going to be doing several different things over there, telling ghost stories and whatnot. So we're starting to build up for our TikTok audience and get that going. But as this goes, we are booked up for the week for the show, so we got some really cool guests coming up. Again, Lisa Campion is going to be on tomorrow, talking about energy vampires. And then Thursday, we're going to be talking about the Canadian Bigfoot. So we're going to hear stories of Sasquatch in Canada. So that's going to be on Thursday, and of course, Nancy's on Friday. So I'm glad you guys came in tonight, and I really appreciate it. And again, Caren and I are not doctors by any means. We're not doctors. All we can do is talk from experience, stuff we've gone through. And I do hope you guys, anybody that's going through any type of grief, does get help. And even if it's talking to somebody else about it, you may not even know the person you're talking to. Maybe I used to do it in the store. It was horrible because I never talked to anybody except in my house. So when I would go shopping, anybody that would talk to me, I'd be like, oh yeah, blah, 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 just to get that outlet to talk to somebody. So just talking to somebody, even over coffee with a friend, helps. But we want I want you to know that you're not alone. You're not alone in your grief. Everybody goes through it. Everybody goes through it in different ways. Okay. If it gets to the point, what I'll do tonight is I'll look up some stuff. I'll post some stuff that you guys can call, suicide hotline and different places like that you guys can call, for assistance or maybe counseling or whatever. If you happen to be going through real deep sick grief, because I know people do that. Okay. All right. Well, that being said, thank you all for coming tonight. And I'm looking forward to working with people, you guys, if you want to do the psychic development class. I'm looking forward to working with you. So check out the California Haunts Meetup for that and sign up because I think those seats are going to go fast. And that will be, I believe it's Saturday, August 5th at 6 p.m. Pacific. So we can get that going. Also, I just thought of something and I lost the thought. See, my mind is going a mile a minute today. Must have been the chocolate I ate before the show. But it was healthy. I had one of those oatmeal chocolate things, so it's good. Yeah, so I think I just forgot something. I can't remember. It was right here. It's one of those days. Anyway, thank you, and I will see you guys at 12:30 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. Have a great evening, and see ya.